Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 to the world of Power Pack Racing. This is our first little dive into the Power Pack DLC, where the races in this mode are more realistic and challenging than anything you've played before. Just like in a real race, you'll need to pay an entry fee to compete, which is an interesting concept in Gran Turismo. I don't think that's been done before. Only those who finish a race will earn credits, so be sure to try your best. Thank you, Sarah. I certainly will. Each Power Pack race comprises a total of 3 sessions. These are known as the practice, qualifying and final race sessions. Depending on how you rank, you will receive a certain number of stars and credits as a reward. Ranking high will earn you a large number of stars, while ranking low will earn you comparatively less. Pretty self-explanatory. You'll also want to collect stars to obtain special cars. A total of 50 races will be held in all. For each race, you'll be allocated 1 car according to the difficulty level. Try not to focus on winning so much as finishing. Clearing races will allow you to compete in subsequent races on your map. And don't forget, I'm rooting for you, so give it your best shot. Thank you, Sarah. I very much appreciate the support. Holy moly, this is a spiderweb of events we have to complete here. And all in all, just to give a slight spoiler, there are only 46 on this map if you count them all. So there's a lot more than 46 icons because there's prizes on here as well. But rather interesting. But you can see there is a rather complex progression system. We have 7 individual different trees of events we can look into. These have since been labelled, but at the moment this was recorded right after the Power Pack came out, and yeah, the labels were not added in this version. I guess they must have come in a future update. Didn't notice that until now, but simply put, the top left are the American events, top middle is European, top right is Japanese. The ones on the right are tuning events, the ones at the bottom are historic events, and the ones out to the left are Nürburgring events. So everything on this tree will take place at the Nürburgring, presumably. But the first one, which we are going to do, is the Porsche Cup Legend at the Nürburgring sprint layout. And you can see there are 20 stars up for grabs. We don't have a best result recorded yet, of course. 11 cars will be on the grid for a 4-lap race with a 10-minute qualifying session, so we'll probably have more time in qualifying than in the race with that setup. But anyway, we have 3 cars to choose from: the Porsche 911, the Porsche 911, or the Porsche 911, all from different years and different versions, of course. But they all have different performance, and we can actually get a little bit of a prize bonus if we choose the more difficult cars. But just to get things started, we're going to go for the easiest car, at least what is in theory the easiest car, and work from there. And if this one comes easy, we'll choose more difficult cars in future events. But for now, this is what we're going to do. But anyway, welcome to the practice. During this session, you can race and return to the pit as often as you like. Now's your chance to warm up before the qualifier, getting a feel for the track and the handling of your car. Remember, you can practice as long as time allows. Your time will be measured following your completion of the outlap, the lap completed after leaving the pit lane. I mean, I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. As you prepare for the qualifier, you'll want to be aware of how you're ranking. There's no need to aim for the top spot right away. Your first priority is to find your braking points and driving line. Once you've got the hang of it, you can probably move on to the qualifier. That's when the competition really begins. The key to mastering this track layout is finding the right braking point for turn 1 and the chicane that comes after the straight. The consecutive turns from turn 2 on will require you to push your tyres to the limit and thread a delicate line. Alright, thank you for all of that. In terms of tuning, there is absolutely nothing we can do. We can't change tyre compounds, and tuning is completely locked entirely. We can't even go and investigate that. So yeah, that is all we can do. We can have assists, so that is the very small amount of tuning we can do. If you want to run a bit of traction control or something along those lines, that is something you can do. But yeah, for now we will not worry about that, and we'll just get into a practice and see how the timing stacks up. We're against a bunch of Gran Turismo World Series drivers. We can also spectate a practice session, which is pretty cool, so we can go around and see everyone else doing their thing. And I suppose if you're very new to a particular circuit or type of car, you can hop on board with one of the other cars and get an idea for braking points and things like that as well. So that's a pretty cool feature. I do appreciate that. But anyway, as we head out of the pit lane onto the track, we will see how practice unfolds. But we're not going to linger on this too much. We did follow another car out of pit lane, so we'll get an immediate gauge from them. But as you can see, we did go fastest after a few laps. So yeah, that was a pretty successful practice session. And yeah, after that we head back into the pits. And yeah, that's kind of it for practice. We'll try and save the bulk of the video for qualifying and the main races, but I did just want to see what happens if you drive into the pits, if you actually go into your pit box and it takes you back to this screen, and it does. You don't actually go driving into the garage, unfortunately, unlike the Formula 1 games where it has that fully animated. But you know, you can't have everything. That's a very minor detail in the grand scheme of things. It's cool that you can just drive into pit lane, though, if you want that little bit of extra immersion of driving the in-lap. But anyway, we're on to the qualifying session. Obviously, lap times here will determine the starting grid, and it's a much shorter than the practice, which means we have to relax and just see what we can do. So let's see how things unfold. If it gets too crowded, it might be wise to pull back and prepare for the next lap. That's probably good advice as well at times. But try to post the best time we can, and we'll be on our way. And once again, time will be measured following the outlap. So, with all of that somewhat unnecessary explanation out of the way, let's get going. And we'll see how this goes. Absolutely nothing on the weather radar, so this is a circuit, it can rain, so did just want to check that, but nothing around, so let's see what we can do. 11 cars on the grid, so a decent sized grid, but not massive. They can go all the way up to 20, I think, and it's also worth mentioning that the Power Pack uses the Sophie 3.0 AI, so a much higher level of intelligence than the regular Gran Turismo AI. And in custom races we can race against Sophie 2.0, but yeah, this is Sophie 3.0, so I'm not sure if it's faster, but as we will see throughout the course of this video, the AI is quite aggressive and quite what's the word I'm looking for? They're quite dynamic, I think is the best way to put it. They're you know, far less robotic than the standard Gran Turismo AI, which is I think a really good thing. It makes these races very exciting in the Power Pack, And to add to that, in future I will be doing live commentary for these Power Pack races, but just for this first episode I decided to do post commentary. But yeah, for the most part these Power Pack episodes will be live commentary, and I'll alternate them with the regular Gran Turismo videos of the regular single player stuff outside of the Power Pack. We still have driving missions, updates to work through, and things like that. But anyway, enough rambling, because I've rambled all the way through qualifying, in which we were able to take pole position. A 34.4 versus a 35.8, so they give you quite a generous car if you choose the fastest one, because I mean, I did do a lot of laps in that session and got a pretty decent time in the end, but yeah, that's quite a hefty margin back to Inestrosa in second place, ahead of Serrano, Euro, Drummond, Gallo, Sasaki, De Bruin, Espinosa, Walters, and Reiniger. So with that out the way, it's time we move on to the race. Our very first race in the Power Pack, race 1 of 50. Let's see how this unfolds. It's time for the final race. Things tend to get a little chaotic out of the gates, but as long as you focus on maintaining your position, you should be fine. Try to remember that the goal is not so much winning as it is finishing. Avoid getting caught up in the confusion and take things at your own pace. Thank you, Sarah. Right. With that said, we can actually save our best lap replay from qualifying, which again is just a nice little touch. Probably a feature I wasn't really expecting. That's usually limited to time trial. A shame you can't save the whole qualifying session, but yeah, again, can't ask for everything. It's cool that they've given you that to begin with. But anyway, we start from pole position with Inestrosa starting out at P2, Serrano in P3 ahead of Ura. Then it's Drummond ahead of Gallo. Starting out of P7 is Sasaki. Then it's De Bruin, Espinosa, Walters, Reiniger at the back. So there we go. 3, 2, 1. No false start check for this one. We're underway for the Power Pack. I'll admit that's a little disappointing. And oh my goodness, that is a rocket ship launch from Inestrosa down the inside of the first corner. We have to leave some space because they were lightning, and look at that, aggressively shutting the door on the exit. So they absolutely sent it in there, and we get a little taste of the aggression of the Power Pack AI already. And it's also just awesome to have standing starts in single player in Gran Turismo once again. And I miss those because yeah, rolling starts are plenty in the regular single player races. But anyway, we get a great run through the hairpin, and now we have a look to the outside. No way through there though, and Inestrosa does a good job to cover that off. So we're gonna have to work for this, and we can try and carry some good speed through the right hander there onto the back straight. But Inestrosa's got some good straight line speed, so we're going to need a little bit more than that to get a run towards the chicane. So let's see what we can do down the inside. We throw it in, and super late on the brakes, we get the job done and retake the lead back. So we've got a strong part of the circuit there as we're able to just carry more speed through the chicane, but leaving space on the inside there, because I thought he was going to chuck it down the inside. He's still there with a little bit of overlap. So this is great racing with the Sophie 3.0 AI, as Inestrosa is still looking down the inside. They've really turned it up since qualifying. If we were almost a second and a half faster in our qualifying lap, check out the aggression. Super late on the brakes there, and we can't quite get the switch back. And yeah, we're going to have to work a little bit harder for this one. Already a lap in the books, as we're now on lap 2, tipping it in to turn 3, trying to carry the speed there to go down the inside of turn 4. He leaves us the space. Good awareness from the Sophie 3.0 AI there as well, which is fantastic to see. So this is a very, like I said, very dynamic and raceable AI opponent that we have now, and we are dropping the rest of the field behind us, so the two of us much faster than everyone else. So I mean, it does make sense in probably an event of this type. There are a variety of different cars, some as old as the 1970s, and some of them the latest and greatest Porsches. So it does make sense that we are pulling away in a couple of the more modern cars, but we make the big lunge around the outside this time, but can't quite get there. We came from a long way back, but we did briefly get alongside, but just couldn't carry the momentum around the outside of the chicane. But now, as we try and get a nice smooth exit out of the final corner in the slipstream, we'll see if the inside of turn 1 is perhaps a better opportunity. 2 laps remain in this race, so we're at the halfway mark already. Nothing to fear from behind. Inestrosa goes for a slight defensive line into the first corner. We're going to try and carry the speed, but he still gets a good exit, and that is making this overtake extremely difficult to construct. Despite these sort of tight lines, he gets the turning done well, and it's very hard to get a better exit. We're strong through here, through these kind of downforce corners, but it's very hard to really do anything in this part of the circuit. We have a short straight here where we can maybe think about something, a very slight defensive waft from Inestrosa there, but nothing really doing there for us, and again, we're just stuck behind. So yeah, we are really having to work for this, but we'll see what we can do as we head on to the back straight once again, and taking a pretty late apex there, trying to get a good run, but we're not really close enough to do anything here once again. So if we're going to make this move, it's going to have to be on the final lap of the race. As we really close in, we chuck it down the inside at the last minute there, getting a little bit of overlap, and yeah, we are very strong through the chicane, so that is our spot. That is where we need to make the move. So let's see what we can do as we now head on to the final lap of the race. Inestrosa holding down the race lead, but we're within proximity. We just need to make sure we are close enough at the critical point, heading along the back straight to see if we can make a move and take the lead with just a couple of corners to go. Oh my goodness, a massive bounce as we head over the curbs there, just taking too much of that inside, and with the strength of our opponent in this race, that might be curtains. We'll see what we can do. We're going to have to put together a mighty middle sector to make up for that. We are closing in a little bit. Like I said, we're strong through these more downforce dependent corners, but yeah, that wasn't good. Just taking too much curb there, and the front axle just would not take it, and it was bouncing across the track like a kangaroo. I've never seen that before. So yeah, that is very bizarre. I wouldn't really expect that from a car like this to be so bouncy, but regardless, we are not close enough to make this move on the back straight. So into the chicane, this is going to have to be the most almighty dive bomb of all time if we want to get this done. I don't think it's possible, but you know we're going to try it as we go from a long way back. We send it in and we barge our way through very aggressively there. So not the most polite overtake I've ever made in my life, I'll be honest, but anyway, it's AI, no one cares. We come around the final corner and we are going to come across the line to take the victory here. Not the most well-earned of my Gran Turismo career, but it's done, and we get the full complement of 20 stars for that performance. Certainly lost my clean race bonus though in that one. And there's usually, if you choose a more difficult car, there would be a difficulty bonus of 10 or 20% on this screen as well that it would tell you about. But obviously I chose the easiest car for this first one. But anyway, that was pretty fun though. I was pretty impressed by the AI. They got a really nice launch, very good start off the line. I wish we had the false start check on just to add that little extra bits of skill to the starting process. There's the bouncing across the track, by the way. But yeah, we have another look at that final move, and yeah, we just eased it into the chicane and just made sure we made our way through there. And poor Inestrosa did not see that coming. And yeah, we're able to roll around the final corner to take the checkered flag. But anyway, with that done, we will now move on to another event. So let's get out of here and see what's up next. We get 20 stars added to our tally, our first 20 stars, and that race is now ticked off the list. However, you can see that this tree is actually blocked by a 40-star reward, so we actually can't do anything else in the Nürburgring tree until we unlock that reward, which is locked behind 40 stars. So we need to do another event and win another 20 stars just to progress further in the Nürburgring tree. So it's pretty interesting the way that works. But before we do that, we did get a roulette ticket, so we're just going to spin that one up right now. We get a few credits, nothing too crazy, but any more to the tally is always welcome. But as we continue on, we will now move on to the American Muscle Cars race at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. 10 minutes of qualifying, I should say, 4 laps and 16 cars on track. And our cars to choose from are the Camaro ZL11 Elite package, the Roadster Shop Rampage, which is also a Camaro-based vehicle, and then the Eckert's Rodden Custom Mach 40. This time we're going to go for the intermediate car with the one chili there in the middle of the Roadster Shop Rampage. I haven't really driven it much, so I'm very curious to see what it's like. But we get basic liveries on all the cars, which is cool. I guess the Roadster Shop already had one. But yeah, we're going to pick the Roadster Shop Rampage. 300 credits for entry into this one. And yeah, we'll head over to Laguna Seca and see how we go here. I think this is going to be a fun one. So once again, we get the welcome to practice, etc. from Sarah. We're not going to go through all that again. It says largely the same things, and once again, we get the keys to the track in case you need those little pointers, but we're skimming over all that because I'm pretty sure I know how to drive this circuit by now. So let's do it then. Let's head into practice. Or we're actually probably going to skip over that. There's no real point to, you know, practice and qualifying are essentially the same thing, except qualifying matters. So we are going to move straight on to qualifying, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. Looking at the tyres before we're on racing hards for this one, we can put intermediates or wets on if we so choose, but there is no point in doing that because it doesn't rain at Laguna Seca. In Gran Turismo, I should say. I'm sure it has rained there at some point in real life. But moving on from that, let's get out of pit lane and see what we can do in qualifying. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. We're going to continue kind of skimming through this, and we actually did 2 separate runs, and it was on our second run in quali that we actually set our fastest lap. And with that, we should be good for pole position. But you can see the margin a little bit less than it was before. We take pole with a 27 flat on the dot. That's impressive. I didn't actually notice that until now. 27.000. Second place with a 27.739. So we take pole by 0.739 of a second. Still a decent margin, but not as comfortable as it was before. And this race is a rolling start, which makes sense, I suppose, for American muscle cars. Listen to that demon engine. Goodness me, that has an absolute snarl to it. But yeah, I love these grid sequences. You get to see all of your opponent cars, even the ones starting down towards the back that were well off the pace in qualifying. It's cool to see them all queuing up on the grid. So yeah, that's a little detail I appreciate as well, lets you know all of your opponents. But anyway, as we roll around the final corner. Let's see how this race unfolds. A little bit less pressure off the start, given that it is a rolling start. So the hardest point in terms of putting the traction down is basically taken care of for us. And we have an easy run towards the first corner and into turn 1, or this is actually turn 2 I believe. But we've managed to make that nicely, but I have a feeling the other cars are not going to let me go too easily. So we'll see how the race unfolds, but I'm already looking back because once again it's Inestrosa behind, and he's really putting the pressure on in the early stages of this race, looking for a move. We're going to have to cover that one off on the inside line, but he makes the move to the outside, not able to get it done there, and we should be able to cover this off, but he gets the switchback and is able to get through. So nice move there. We dive it back down the inside, but can't commit to it. There's a big curve on the inside there that you do not want to commit too hard to, and Inestrosa takes the race lead. So once again, we're going to have to chase down the Chilean driver as we go a little bit deep into the corkscrew, and that's going to let him off the hook for a little while, and we're actually getting re-overtaken again as we head back down the inside and retake second place. So we briefly lost out there to Haywood, but thankfully we're able to take that back very quickly. But Inestrosa on a hard defensive line there, so from a long way ahead, covering that one off, defending a little bit of fresh air I think, to be honest, but regardless it's still cool to see them you know, taking those lines, hugging the inside here as well, taking the shortest line all the way around to turn 1 and into the hard braking zone of the hairpin. But as we continue on, we're in the slipstream, and we are, you know, when we're not making mistakes like that, we are faster. So I just need to make sure I focus and make sure I hit all the marks right, and we should have the pace to keep up, although through there it seems we were not quite as good. So it's very interesting. This is a bit of a difficult car to drive. You have to muscle it around a bit. It's not quite as cooperative, so I imagine the Demon out in the race lead, probably a bit more of a compliant car than this. This is a little bit more unwieldy, but yeah, it's fun to drive. I do have to say, after having driven a lot of the Power Pack cars by the time of recording this voiceover, they all handle really nicely. There's none that are just flat out undrivable. So yeah, they're pretty good cars to choose from. But regardless, we're dropping away from Inestrosa slightly throughout this second lap of the race. So we're going to need to push on a lot harder if we want to make something of this and take the race lead back. We do set a personal best lap, of course, on lap 2, but Inestrosa was faster and has the fastest lap of the race as we send it into turn 1 there, very deep on the brakes, not quite the ideal line through there. So yeah, this is going to be difficult. I don't really know where to go from here. Like, it's like he's just slipping away, and there's not really a lot I can do about it. I can try and drive as best I can and maybe hope they make a mistake, but in the meantime all I can do is just try and drive as quickly as possible. And you know, there are parts of the track I think we do catch up a little bit, so you know, there's maybe some hope, but I really have to push hard. But it's very difficult to keep sort of increasing and getting closer to that limit without ever crossing it, because as soon as you do cross that limit, especially here as you get into the corkscrew, there can be a lot of time lost. But anywhere here at Laguna Seca, really, if you push too far, you're off in the sand. There is no forgiveness at this track, so you know, it's very difficult to push on. But again, very tight line into that final corner, so I'm not sure why Inestrosa keeps doing that as we drift our way through the final corner that time, so unable to capitalize. But if we get a nice run through the final corner on, well, I guess we're going on to the final lap now, so it's probably going to be a bit too little too late. We really needed the good run on that lap to close in and put the pressure on this one. But we'll see what we can do. We've got basically 1.8 seconds to the race leader. We're only 7/10 faster in quali, so even if you know, we have a perfect lap, we're going to struggle to get within a second of the race leader here. But we'll see. We'll go as quickly as we can just to try and put any kind of pressure on that we can manage at this stage. But as we continue on through the middle sector, missing the apex there, Innistrose has lost it. He's spun off the road into the sand on the infield, and we're going to take the race lead. He's lost a heap of time there. He's dropping down the order, in fact. So Innistrose throwing away race victory. I'm in disbelief. We've been gifted the win here. We've got a good margin to the next car. We don't have to worry about them. Oh my goodness. The Gran Turismo AI scarcely make mistakes. We see it occasionally in the Group C cars, but that is something else. Around the final corner we come then, missing the apex completely. Thankfully, it doesn't really matter. We've got a massive margin. So we're going to come to the finish line now and take the win out of nowhere. I was ready to do this again. You'll notice we actually only got 2 stars. Truth be told, that was not attempt 1 at that race. Clean race bonus, difficulty bonus as well. Nice. I need to see that again. I have never seen anything like that before. In a car that, I mean, it's a muscle car, so it's not going to be, you know, the most, you know, light and nimble thing in the world. This car is actually very, very heavy, with no tuning done. I assume this probably has some weight reductions on it. But, yeah, just lost it. Even with the racing tyres on, it was just a loss of traction. And Innistrose dumps it into the sand on the inside, and the whole field goes through, dropping down to P5, P6, P7. Goodness me. That is a massive loss of positions. Unbelievable. And there have been similar incidents. This is from previous attempts. You can see the car ahead there had a bit of a wobble, so, you know, I had seen it, and actually that one they did have a much more significant wobble, but not a full spin. And again, that's a different car. I would expect that the Demon, it's such a stable and nicely handling car, having driven it myself in the recent past. And he had another moment there. But I just, yeah, would not have expected it from the Demon. It's got a lot of downfalls. Oh, a bit of contact there, and sent this car scattering. Goodness me. But anyway, we get our 2 stars to add to 18 we got earlier. So we have 40 in total now. So we can continue on our Nürburgring journey by collecting our first prize of the Power Pack. 250,000 credits for getting those 40 stars and completing that first Porsche Cup race at the Nürburgring. But now we carry on to the Nürburgring Tourist event at Nürburgring Nordschleife. Funnily enough, a single lap, 20 minutes of qualifying, and 20 cars on track in this one, so a full grid. And we get the DRS Porsche to drive, which is fun. We get the Mercedes GTR as well as the BMW M4. I tried the BMW first, and it was not a fun time, unfortunately. We did not go well in this car at all, down in P17 by the end of the race. So I decided to just throw this in to the video just to show that I tried it. But yeah, I really struggled in this car. Definitely could have done better. There were a lot of mistakes, but if I want to win this event, which obviously I do, yeah, the BMW is not going to cut it. So we're going to go again in a better car. And given that it's only a 1-lap race, I skipped straight on to the fastest car available, which is the DRS Porsche, as I love to call it. We complete our first lap in quali. It's good enough to go fastest, although I think we will eventually drop down once everyone else sets their times. We're a second and a half off the pace ultimately. Our second lap brings us a second closer, but it'll be second position in qualifying for this one. We're just skimming through it because we'll see enough of the Nürburgring in the main race, where we will have plenty of work to do trying to pass Serrano, who takes pole position this time in Astroza, down in P4. So yeah, different drivers fast in different events, which is cool. But anyway, once again, it's the final race, try to avoid traffic, etc, etc. And yeah, we will get racing at the Nürburgring. This is going to be a fun one. I do enjoy the Nürburgring, so it'll be good to race against Sophie 3.0 here. Serrano starts from pole position ahead of myself. Then it's Drumont starting out at P3 ahead of Inestroza. Miyazono in P5 ahead of Hashima. Then it's Mosso next on the grid. Fraga, Okamoto, De Bruin, Karatza, Sasaki, Labutelli, Suzuki, Gallo, Bonelli, Beauvoir, Hayward, Kawakami, and Bazin at the back. Bazin, I don't know. Anyway, we're coming around to get started now then. It's a long way to the starting grid. Here we go then. We're underway for the Nürburgring tourist race, and yeah, looks like these are just you know, performance European cars that are taking part in this one. So bit of a track day vibe to this one, I guess. But anyway, we go diving through the first few corners, and already Serrano pulling a margin, so we're going to need to try and pull out something special if we want to keep up in this one. We did not take pole for the first time, and we chose the easiest car, so it's not going to be particularly easy to make this work for us, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can make things work. Already on this straight, probably deploying the DRS. There's no real limit to it. It's just mapped to the triangle button. You can just press it to open the DRS, like press and hold, as long as you want. So yeah, that is what we will be doing on all of the straights, and obviously getting that downforce back for the corners, although we go very deep there. I'm not able to take that corner as quickly as I would have liked to, but that actually, in a roundabout way, helps us get down the inside. And in the most unconventional move I've ever made, we take the lead of the race after the first couple of sectors. And in fact, you could see as I look back coming out of that hairpin that I was opening a DRS in that moment. So already, you know, even on fairly short straights, making as much use of it as I can to just gain whatever tiny advantage we can gain, because, you know, if we do that everywhere, it will add up. But bad run there, and we might be under pressure. I think we just have it covered off. There wasn't really anywhere for them to go through that sort of twisty section of the track. So we're going to maintain the race lead for now, but this is really now a test of not making mistakes. It's a pretty hard track to make overtakes, generally speaking, so so long as we just keep it on the road and don't wander too far off the racing line, we should be okay. And you know, even with that mistake there, which was a pretty bad one, we were able to get away with it, and yeah, not come under too much pressure. So we're okay for now, but yeah, like I said, just need to keep everything in check as we now head into the tightest and twistiest part of the circuit, and we're navigating that okay so far. Still not able to skip away from the car behind as we head into the next hard left-hander. They send one down the inside. We almost get the switchback, but not quite able to do it. So we lose the race lead to Serrano as we barge our way back through, being very aggressive in this one, because unlike Laguna and at where the shorter layout of the Nürburgring, I don't know if I can trust my pace here, and I don't know where Serrano's strengths and weaknesses are. I don't have laps and laps to uncover all that, so we really just need to capitalize on any opportunity that we have, and you know, try and maintain the lead for as much of the race as possible, so that in the parts of the track where we are slower, hopefully Serrano will just get held up and we won't have to worry too much. But I'm already concerned that we're going to struggle on the back straight, because I always struggle with the right-hander onto the back straight. So getting a good exit there is going to be critical. It's one of the most difficult corners you'll ever find, at least for me anyway. But as we carry on, we are making good time along this faster section of the track, and pulled away just a little bit from Serrano. So we've eased the pressure ever so slightly. I'm not looking back at this point. I just want to make sure I continue sort of hitting the marks as much as possible. I know if I don't make any mistakes, as we were a little bit off kilter through the carousel there. That wasn't great, just running too low through there to begin with, but we do manage to hold on still. But yeah, I know if I don't make any mistakes, even if Serrano's putting the pressure on, he won't be able to make the move, because there's not really any sort of big enough braking zones where they can go for a big kind of diving move. You can see he's just continuously getting stuck and not able to capitalize, even though we're not driving particularly well at this stage. But yeah, we're just keeping on the racing line well enough, and while he's looking left and right behind, there's just no opportunity to go through, because a lot of the corners lead the opposite way from the previous. So there's not really any real switchback opportunities, not really any multiple corners in the same direction where you can continue holding the inside line and things like that. So we can use the track layout to our advantage, even if we don't have the ultimate pace. And I've definitely noticed at this point of racing in the Power Pack that I think the AI are just better in the race. That or I'm worse, which is also possible. But yeah, it's something I've really started to notice, especially in this one, and in the previous one at Laguna, where we had a clear margin in qualifying, and then in the race we could not keep up with the Nostroza until he made that mistake. But anyway, as we continue to fumble our way around the track, we don't have much of a margin, and we're getting dangerously close to the corner I was speaking about earlier, leading on to the back straight. So we're going to be under pressure here. We need to make sure we get this right, and I'm going to go for a relatively cautious approach through this one, just to make sure we don't go running off into the grass. And Serrano sends it around the outside, gets it done easily, so we severely underdrove that. But we're in proximity still, we're in the slipstream, we got the DRS open, and now look at the straight line speed building. We're closing and closing, the slipstream grows stronger, and we can go for the move around the outside towards the oh my goodness, there's another car coming. Drumont like a rocket ship on the back straight. We slam the inside door shut there, trying to send him around the long way. In the end, he gets caught up behind us and has to hit the anchors as well. But my goodness, Drumont had so much straight line speed there, takes second position with just a couple of corners to go as we send it into the final complex as deep as we dare. And looks like we just about got that nailed. So with just one corner left to navigate, we're going to get away with it here. But Drumont was really throwing everything at it in the final few corners there, and the main back straight, the Dottingerhoe. But my goodness, 16 stars. We already got the first 4 from the BMW attempt. First place. That was a hard one. But there we go. That's going to do it for today. We got 3 events ticked off the list. We need 80 stars before we can continue the Nürburgring tree anymore. So we might need to look into some other ventures in the meantime. But for now, that is all. So I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It's always very helpful. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.